You are now listening to the Gospel of Alex. Alex, drop those scriptures.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Alex. Shout out to the Elite Fleet. Make sure you like and subscribe so you can become a member of the Elite Fleet. And we got to talk about a really important situation that was just brought to my attention by one of my subscribers, and that's the CJsocool situation and him allegedly touching on his stepdaughter, Jalea. And we got to talk about it because this is a situation I've talked about many times on this channel. And you guys have to understand that when I, as a man, advise you guys, right? And this is a very important video. I want the women to pay attention. I want the men to pay attention, and regardless of your age, because I'm about to drop straight gems in this. But I want to start with this. You guys have to understand that when I make videos and I advise you of stuff, because this situation CJsocool is going through right now, I've warned you guys about several times on this channel when I've told you guys you shouldn't be dating single mothers in the first place. That's just number one. You just shouldn't be doing it. She already gave another man the highest honor she can give him, which is she gave him her two highest honors. One is her vagina, and two is your child. The highest honor a woman can give a man is a child. So she already gave that to another man. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter how much money you spend, no matter what you do, you will never be higher in that woman's pedigree than that man. Those are not your kids, right? And so I also say to you guys all the time, especially if the single mother has a daughter, that situation is dangerous for you. Because something like this can always happen. And you guys have to understand, when I give you guys that type of advice, I expect for women to come and call me all types of names. They're going to do that, right? I expect for women to come and say, oh, you're not a real man. Men 50, 40, 60, 100 years ago would never say don't date single mothers. That's just your new generation, man. And why are you bashing? You bashing single mothers, and it's disgusting. You're disgusting. I expect them to react emotionally and lash out at me because they're single mothers. You guys have to understand, 70% of the women in the black community are single mothers. 50% of the women in the Hispanic community are single mothers. 30% of the women in the white community are single mothers. There's a lot of single mothers when you put all that together. So every time someone like me makes a video and I say avoid single mothers, especially single mothers who have daughters, every single mother who has a daughter is going to naturally get emotional and lash out at me for telling you guys that, because I'm limiting her options. Her options were limited enough and I'm limiting them further, so I expect her to lash out. Right? But I also expect men to have enough common sense to understand that's exactly what they're doing. They're lashing out. Because a woman who doesn't have kids will advise you not to date women with kids. Women with kids, if you ask them what they would tell their son, they will admit to you behind closed doors that they would not advise their son to go and date a woman with kids. Like, you know what I mean? So you guys have to understand that. And the reason I always say to you guys, especially if she has a daughter, is because the exact situation that CJsocool is in right now. This is why you do not date single mothers who have a daughter, because I don't give a damn what anyone tells you. Women are going to try to come in these comments probably and tell you I'm crazy and I'm capping and I'm lying. But at the end of the day, the same women who are going to tell you not to listen to me and to go out here and date a single mother who has a daughter, they're not going to have your back when you end up in a situation like CJsocool. When the daughter accuses you of touching her, those same women who said, oh, there's nothing wrong with dating a woman who's a single mother who has a daughter, she's not going to go to court with you. She's not going to pay for your lawyer. She's not going to pay for your trial. She's not going to speak on behalf at your trial. She's not even going to feel bad for you. When you tell her, yo, I dated that single mother with a daughter and her daughter trying to say that I touched her and now I got to go to court, now I'm fighting the case. I might get hit with a case. You know what she's going to say? She's going to say, oh, well, you should have picked better. And you know what I'm going to do? As a man, I'm going to agree with her. You should have picked better, because you should have never picked a daughter, a single mother with a daughter in the first place. That shouldn't have even been an option for you. Now, going further, because I'm going to break this down in more detail. Do I believe that CJsocool did touch on Jalea? I don't follow CJsocool. I know a lot of women get into the YouTube vloggers and stuff. Personally, I don't get into the YouTube vloggers because I think that they're fake. Right? I think that they're fake. I think that they're corny. I just can't get into it. So I don't know the background. I don't know the situation. Right? I'm going to say this. I would not be surprised if he did. And I will also not be surprised if he didn't. And I'm going to explain why logically. Why would I not be surprised if he did? I've told you guys before, and I will tell you guys again. Let it breathe, run it back. The most dangerous place for a little girl is in the arms of a man that is not her father. 81% of women, if you go on to the Sexual National Violence and Rape website, 81% of women have at some point in their life been sexually assaulted, they've been touched on, groped, raped, or something along those lines. 81%. All right? I think the lowest statistic I found was 1 in 3 women having some type of a sexual harassment, assault, being touched, or a rape attempt, or something like that. That was the lowest statistic I found. So in the best case scenario, 30%, but really it's like 81%. And that does not surprise me, because the vast majority of women I know in real life have been touched by a stepfather, or touched by a cousin, or touched by their babysitter. And not even just dudes, other women do it to them too. And I tell you guys all the time, the top 2 people who are going to take advantage of your children, especially your girls, but your boys too, is going to be family members, right? Like the uncles, the cousins, the aunties, the stepdads, the stepmothers, and it's going to be the daycare. Hence why I always advocate for housewives, because if you have a housewife, you don't have to get a babysitter. So you eliminate the daycare. You eliminate the cousin watching your kid. You eliminate the uncle watching your kid. And it's also why I advocate for not dating single mothers. It's also why I advocate for women to not have children with men who are not married to them. Because if you have children with the same man, he's not going to touch his own kids. He's not going to do that. That's less than a 1% chance. That's a very, very low chance that that's going to happen. Versus if you bring a stepfather in, or if you bring a babysitter in, or if you take the kids to a daycare. This is why everything I say lines up, right? But in the event where you do have to use a daycare, or in the event where you do have to put a stepfather into the case, it's too many women out here who have been touched, who have been raped, who have been assaulted sexually in some way, shape, or form for me to ever completely write off that it's a possibility. You understand what I'm saying to you? Also, you guys got to understand, because I see a lot of people saying, oh, well, if he was touching on Jalea, why does royalty still have the twins over there? Why does she still let him have custody of other kids? Why is she still taking other kids over there? You guys have to understand. In most of the cases that I know of, where women were touched or assaulted in some way sexually, the mothers knew at least half the time. You know how many women I know that told their mother, yo, my cousin did this to me. The neighbor did that to me. My uncle did this to me. My stepdaddy did that. A lot of the times the mothers know. They don't care. Now, you guys can pretend this doesn't happen, because I seen people in the comments, oh, no mothers I know would allow something like that to happen. No mothers I know would allow their kids to be in a situation like that. But it's a lie, because like I said, 81% of women have been in this situation. Most of the women I know, rather it be women I've dated or women I've been friends with, they've had something like this happen to them before. So any woman saying they don't know a woman who would be in a situation like this, or a mother who would allow it, they're lying. They do know women who have been in situations like this. They do know women whose mothers allowed it. You guys have to understand, if the stepdaddy's paying the bills, right? If the stepdaddy providing a lifestyle, if the mother's in love with the stepdaddy, she could be blinded by that. And sometimes it's an exchange, as wicked as it sounds. Y'all gotta think about situations like the Aaliyah and R. Kelly situation. Aaliyah's parents knew what was going on. You guys have to understand this stuff. It's a wicked world sometimes. When people got money and they got power, a lot of crazy things can tend to happen. So yes, I could see a scenario where royalty was aware that this was happening and she just didn't say anything. Because I guess her excuses is supposed to be, well, she didn't know until April. But my thing is, okay, if you didn't know in April, why you didn't say anything until now? Why you didn't say anything until, bro, you should have said something immediately. How come we haven't found the police report? So I can 100% believe he might have done this and she probably didn't know, and she might not have said anything. She might have told Jalea not to say anything. Now, on the flip side of this, I could also 100% believe that they're lying, right? Why can I believe that they're lying? Well, one of the reasons that I tell you guys not to date single mothers who have daughters is because if you break up with the single mother, She has to go back to whatever lifestyle she had before you came. So if you provided her a better lifestyle, which 2 incomes are better than 1, so 9 times out of 10 you did, she's not going to want to go back to where she was at before you came. So she will use the daughter to extort you. She will tell the daughter to tell a lie about you touching her. And if you don't believe me, check this out.
The man that fuck with you. Rico, he's mean and you don't like him.
Did I do that?
You don't fuck with him.
Did I do that?
Do you hear me? He touched you? Yes, he did. Didn't he? Yep.
No, I
I
didn't.
fucking thought.
Look at you, so... You got you on camera.
Now, that's a short I did a while ago that went viral. And as you can see in that short, the mother was literally coaching the daughter to lie on the father and pretend that the father touched her. Because she said, didn't he touch you? The little girl said, no, he didn't touch me. And she said, yes, he did. He did touch you. Little girl got scared, saying, yeah, he touched me. She know that man didn't touch her, but her mama's mad. Her mama's bitter. Her mom is pissed at the stepdaddy. So she's gonna use the daughter against her because she knows people want to believe their daughters. Now, let me say this. Again, there's been too many scenarios that I know of women personally, and that just happens in general, where women really are being touched on and really being taken advantage of, and no one does anything or no one believes them. So as a mom, you should always believe your daughter. But the thing is, when a mother has the daughter go out and say out loud, oh, he touched me, she already knows that most people have a sweet spot for kids and that most people are going to believe the women. We're in the Me Too era. So when she tells her daughter to do that, she does that knowing that even if it's a lie, who's going to take the man's side in a scenario like that? You have a little girl and you have a grown man. People are not going to sympathize with the grown man. 9 times out of 10, they're going to sympathize with the little girl. So would I be surprised if royalty went to Jay Lee and was like, yo, we're going to get CJ back because you're going to tell everyone that CJ touched on you when you was a little girl? No, I would not be surprised at all. You also have to understand, royalty might not have told Jay Lee anything. Sometimes when you're dealing with a daughter and you're the stepdaddy, right? And she might be used to you always giving her everything she wants, right? She's used to you just buying her everything she wants or taking her everywhere she wants to go. You know, take me there. I want to go there. Like Rugrats back in the day. And now you start saying no, right? Or now, because you're not with the mother, you might change up a little bit. Or maybe you just start saying no. You know, the one time she asked you for those $350 Ugg boots, you like, yeah, baby, I can't do that right now. I can't afford it. And she like, damn, this is the second time you told me no. I got something for you. This happens too. I got something for you. You gonna keep telling me no? I got something for you. You gonna break up on my mom and not come and see me like that? I'm about to tell everybody that you touched me. This happens too. It's a form of extortion. So now that I feel like you're treating me different, or now that I feel like you're breaking up the family, or now I feel like you're not getting me what I need or doing what you used to do for me, now I'm about to tell people that you touched me. Now I'm about to ruin your reputation. See, you guys have to understand, women play games like this. Just like moms will coach their daughters to lie, older daughters will lie on their own because they understand that this can destroy you, this can destroy your reputation. So it's a form of extortion. This is not a joke. If you get put on the sex offenders list, you're on the sex offenders list for the rest of your life. You don't come off the sex offenders list. Anywhere you buy a house or you rent, you pop up right there. You pop up, they're like, yo, he's a sex offender. You can't go pick your kids up from school. It gets real. And if you go to jail and they think that you was touching on kids, listen, they're going to violate you in the prison. It's going to be bad. So y'all have to understand, women realize this. Just like they realize that court systems are in their favor when it comes to divorce, or court systems are in their favor when it comes to child support, they know that when it comes to saying someone touched them or raped them, the court systems are in their favor with that too. The court of public opinion is in their favor with that too. So I have seen situations where little girls feel a certain way about their stepfather for whatever reason. Maybe he moved on from their mother. Maybe he stopped doing things he used to do for her. And she's like, okay, I got you. I'm about to tell everybody that you was touching me. I've seen situations like that. Hell has no fury like a woman scorned, guys. So it would not surprise me if royalty was coaching her daughter to tell this lie to get CJsocool in trouble because he's bitter. It would not surprise me if Jay Lee was just telling this lie on her own because she's bitter for whatever reason. It also would not surprise me if CJsocool was actually doing this. Nor would it surprise me if royalty knew and just decided not to say anything until now because now she's bitter. Because all of these things happen all the time. So when you ask me, do I believe it? When you ask me, do I think it happened? I don't know. I don't know. All I can say is, as a mother, you have to believe your daughter. So at the end of the day, Jay Lee is out here, and if that's what she's saying happened, then as a mother, you have to believe her. And as a man, you have to know that in the court of public opinion, you're probably going to lose. Now, in the case of CJsocool, it looks like he's winning the court of public opinion, right? Because it looks like royalty is lying. But at the end of the day, 9 times out of 10, that's not how it's going to go. Most of the time, you're going to lose in the court of public opinion. And my overall message that I really want dudes to take home from this is why you do not date single mothers who have a daughter. You guys got to understand, little girls are affectionate. Little girls are affectionate. Why would you want to take on someone else's daughter? This is not your daughter. She want to be affectionate. So little girls don't do high fives. They're going to want to give you a hug. What you doing hugging another man's daughter? Little girls don't want to sit next to you. They want to cuddle with you. What are you doing cuddling with another man's daughter? Little girls want to sit on your lap. Like, they want to be close. They're still girls. They like to be held. What are you doing with another man's daughter sitting on your lap or cuddling with you or hugging you or holding your hand walking on the street? You going to a daddy-daughter's dance. You doing a two-step, a slow two-step with another man's seed. None of this stuff is weird when it's your daughter, but this is not your daughter. So this is why I say all the time, if you are going to date a single mother, which you shouldn't be doing in general, unless you have kids, you shouldn't be doing, right? But you need to make sure she doesn't have a little girl. It's just not worth the risk. It's not worth the risk. And the best case scenario, right? You date a woman who has a daughter. In the best case scenario, absolute best case scenario, right? The best way it could work out for you, okay? You got to understand, is nothing happens. You stay with the daughter's mother. Y'all live happily ever after. That's your best case scenario. But the worst case scenario, she says you was touching her. You go to jail. You get violated in jail or possibly deleted in the jail. You get on the sex offender list for the rest of your life. That's your worst case scenario. So you gotta wait. Best case scenario, I get to stay with the mom for the rest of my life. Worst case scenario, I'm in jail. I possibly get deleted. And when I get out of jail, I'm on a sex offender's life forever. It's not worth the risk when you can just go and find a woman who doesn't have any kids, or go and find a woman who has a kid, but the kid and have your own daughter. You should not be cuddled up with anybody else's daughter. You just shouldn't be doing it. It's not worth the risk. You guys gotta understand, when I say certain things to you, right? I'm not saying the things to be an a-hole. I'm saying the things to try to protect you. You have no business with another man's daughter sitting in your lap, in your face, smiling, in your face, giving you hugs, talking about some daddy. You are not her daddy. And this is the type of thing that can happen when you allow yourself to be in situations like that. And you can't let the emotional whims of a woman convince you to be in a situation like that. If that's not your daughter, you must have quit. If that's not your daughter, it's not legit. If that's not your daughter, you can't hit. You got to leave that alone. You got to leave that situation alone. It's not worth the risk. So that's my thoughts on the CJsocool situation. I'll also say this. CJsocool is a content creator. So content creators lie all the time for content. They lie all, so this could very well just be you guys got to understand. I say this all the time. The best gems come for those who stay to the end. I repeat, the best gems come for those who stay to the end. I say this all the time. YouTube is not a job. For you to get paid on YouTube, you got to get views. If you don't get views, you don't get paid. So once you get that 100K check from YouTube and you quit your job, you got to realize YouTube don't got no pension. You got to realize YouTube don't got no 401k. You got to realize YouTube don't got no TPS. All right? You got to realize YouTube doesn't have anything to set you up for when you retire. YouTube just pays you based upon views and donations. So you got to do what you got to do to get those views and donations. So when things start to slow down, sometimes content creators have to go to the extreme to make content. You just seen it now with DDG. DDG went out there, had a baby with a Little Mermaid, announced the breakup when he could have just kept it to himself, and keeps putting the camera in the baby's face all the time. Baby taking a dump, DDG got the camera in the baby's face. Baby crying, DDG got the camera in the baby's face. Baby picking his nose, eating a booger, DDG got the camera in the baby's face. So would it surprise me if CJsocool and the whole damn family made up this story just to get views, just to get clicks, to keep the money coming in? Nah, that wouldn't surprise me. You can't put nothing past content creators. Content creators make their whole life content. They will turn themselves into a circus just so y'all keep coming to the show. I repeat, they will turn themselves into a circus just so that y'all keep coming to the show. So it wouldn't surprise me if this whole thing was fake and just for content. You never know. I don't know what to think. What I do know is if you're a man, you have no business dating a woman who has a daughter. You have no business dating a woman who has kids unless she has kids. Unless you have kids. Otherwise, you shouldn't even be there. And even if you have kids, again, you don't have no business having another man's daughter on your lap. Right? And if you can't love that little girl the right way, then there's no point in you being there. Hence why I suggest that you just don't go there. It sounds messed up, but you gotta protect yourself first at the end of the day. Because again, ain't no one gonna come to your court case. All the people telling you don't listen to me and you just go and do it anyway, they're not gonna be there for you when you're in the situation CJsocool in. They're gonna be looking like, dang, that's crazy. They're not gonna back you up. So that's my thoughts on that, y'all. I am Alex and I am out. Peace.